think the two presentations actually were quite consistent, but I would like to know from the hotel standpoint what you think about the notion of customer-centric revenue management. I mean, it feels like you were talking about the same kind of thing, but I wonder where the hotel industry or where your hotel chain is on that spectrum now.
Yeah, that was surprisingly consistent. It's the whole idea of everything that we do ultimately comes back to the essence of hospitality, taking care of the guests. In the hotel world, that's easily seen as, you know, a maitre d' or a concierge. We play a part in that as well. So it's the customer-centric approach to every step of their experience has to be positive, enjoyable, and ultimately with the intention of converting them into a direct booking loyal guest.
Another one for the hotel side is, and I'm not sure Chris is as bullish on ancillary revenue as some of the other presenters during this conference, but where does ancillary fit into your strategy, and is there such a thing as total revenue management? Yeah,
so I omitted a couple of slides because it was already getting out of hand. Ancillary revenue was part of that. Obviously, there's groups and meetings and events. There's F&B, all of that kind of stuff. The list can actually go on for a while. We got real close as an industry to introducing a new metric, which I wanted to include in stuff we should be measuring. It's proven to be a little bit more difficult than I had hoped, but we're getting there. This idea of TrevPAR, I think, was a term someone threw out there, total revenue per available room. So the value of an entire guest stay beyond just room revenue is something that we've dabbled in but have not gotten there yet. It's hard to introduce new metrics.
Okay, Chris, talk to us about ancillary. Is that really customer-centric?
Yes, it is. However, I think the airline industry found, someone said it earlier on, I think today, I can't remember if it was the fellow from JetBlue Ventures. It's like a drug. And one of the proponents was me, and I would deny that. I'm still a strong proponent for it. However, I think it has been usurped in such a way that it just is not being delivered in the appropriate way. And what that does, it becomes a commodity. Once it becomes a commodity, then it's nothing around customer-centric choice. And what you're looking for is to provide services that makes sure the customer chooses and pays for what they want. By the way, the second piece to this isn't the whole idea that I can create a fee product. It is how the product is marketed. If I am selling you a fare that says, for example, in the US, they call it basic economy or something to that. I don't remember what the exact brand term is. But you don't market it that way. You never see any CPG type oriented company market, if it's called a loss leader, in a negative way. There's a specific market segment to that, and they appropriate that market segment and sell the hell out of that market segment, that this is the right choice for you. Well, in the airline business, we're horrible marketers, and I've said that for the last 10 years. So what we do is just, where's the fee? Okay, fine. And you expect the customer to love you? Your NPS scores don't get any better. Your packaging of the product doesn't get any better. Your operations suffer in the process. And then your distribution doesn't understand anything because it's still archaic, and all of a sudden it becomes a political issue. So, again, I love ancillaries. I believe it's the right thing for the business. I just think we need to be a lot smarter about how we execute them.
There's a question from Anonymous about OTAs and the billboard effect. I don't. Are you able to see it too? Yeah. Okay. Oh, you have a comment on that?
what do I think about? Yeah. Billboard effect is this idea that I alluded to it earlier, that we use the OTAs, especially as independent hoteliers, to attract new guests, and that's certainly true. Absolutely, the Expedias and Bookings of the world have a market reach far beyond anything that we're going to have, especially as a non-branded entity. So, yeah, the billboard effect is definitely a real thing. I don't know if that's the right term for it. It's just leveraging a partnership that has excellent technology and a massive database. So, yeah, in that sense it is. But you know, I've also heard a lot of argument that the billboard effect is dead, and that's actually not true, and that guests are becoming smarter. They are able to see through the lines more, and hopefully they are being educated that direct is best. But that's the problem we have, right? Is it? I don't know, and I hate saying that because I sure want everybody to book directly with me, but it's hard whenever Expedia makes it really easy to do business with them. So it's a thing.
Do you have a perspective on that from the airline side, Chris? OTAs and the billboard effect?
You just had to ask that question. OTAs are proliferating in our world, as well as they're already entrenched in non-hub markets here in the U.S. Yes, there's a billboard effect, and I've worked with different carriers to know the strength of an OTA. So yes, I do say there is a billboard effect. Like any other referral marketing entity that has the power to bring eyeballs to it, there will always be that. And those other entities that are growing in such a way that they're not OTAs but they're other referrers, you're going to have the same thing. The question is the cost of it. Does it make sense? And by the way, how do we both service the customer so they're well informed, they have the right choice, and they can actually drive the right preference? And whatever I'm putting on your shelf is understood by the customer in any comparison they have with any other service provider or competitor in the marketplace.
I'm sorry, there are some other questions, but I'm going to need to cut it short. We've got a couple more presentations to go. Let's give a hand to Chris and Josh.